the West Coast Express. It's Metro Vancouver's only regional train line. It's operated for 30 years, and this Saturday, it's going to do something novel, run on a weekend.
It's a big deal for us. The West Coast Express is a really integral part of how people get around in this region.
That is TransLink CEO Kevin Quinn talking about the train service that runs from suburban Metro Vancouver municipalities to downtown on weekday mornings and back east in the evening. And after 3 decades of operation, they think it's worth a special celebration.
This is a great opportunity to really reflect and celebrate on the 30 years.
Now, there are plenty of people that use the West Coast Express, but what do they do a good job at, and what do they do a bad job at? Here is a chart. When it comes to speed, safety, and overall service, the train is good. But the complaints are obvious. The train doesn't run on weekends, doesn't run on afternoons, and isn't particularly integrated into the rest of TransLink's system. There have been many campaigns over the years to expand West Coast Express access. The NDP actually promised it in their last election campaign. So why has it been so hard to expand this service? Well, there are 3 reasons, and the first is pretty straightforward.
To be clear, TransLink doesn't own the railroad.
CPKC has owned the line for decades and sells track space to TransLink so the train can operate. More trains would cost more money, but as Quinn notes, it would also reduce the efficiency of Vancouver's port.
Something that we'd really have to look into, that CPKC would have to look into, is the build out of additional tracks if you want to start adding slots. That starts to impact freight train movement, and so that's got to be part of the discussion.
Second, there's the question of demand. The West Coast Express focuses heavily on people commuting to downtown Vancouver and therefore has had the hardest time of TransLink services regaining pre-pandemic ridership. And third, TransLink has plenty of other areas where demand is booming, from buses south of the Fraser to the constant pushes for rapid transit to North Shore, UBC, and SFU.
We also don't want to dig our operating deficit any deeper than it sits today. So we've got to be very careful and very choosy with what projects we want to pursue at this point.
But still, it remains a fact that transit connections between Metro Vancouver and nearby municipalities is lacking compared to most major cities in wealthy countries. A source of frustration for the city immediately to Metro Vancouver's north.
We have lots of people commuting both to the north and to the south of Squamish daily for work that could be handled, and I would argue better handled, more appropriately handled by the transit system.
But while the province admits that its West Coast Express promise hasn't progressed much, they are bullish on expanded transit heading north.
That's something that I would like to see happen. In fact, there's work underway in my ministry, working with the affected communities along the C2 Sky Highway corridor.
Added up, and there are encouraging signs in the region for interregional transportation options. But it's a reminder that when it comes to these sorts of developments, the speed at which they happen is anything but express. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.